Bimi, 32 years old male, work as a logistics manager for a mid-sized regional shipping company. Decent salary, enough to pay the mortgage and save a little. Married for 5 years to Alina, 31 years old. Alina is smart, sharp-tongued, and incredibly educated. She holds a master's degree in sociology and works as a consultant for corporate inclusion strategies. When we first met, she was passionate and fiery. I loved that about her, thought we were a team against the world. Fast forward to 6 months ago, things changed, slowly at first, then all at once. Alina started getting deeper into her academic circles, spending hours on forums and Discord servers dedicated to radical theory. She started bringing her work home in a way that felt personal. Our dinner conversations shifted from how our days went to lectures about my subconscious biases. I tried to be supportive. I listened, nodded, read the articles she sent me. I wanted to be a good husband. Then came the intimacy drop-off. It wasn't just a dry spell. It felt intentional, punitive. Every time I initiated anything, I was met with a sigh or a lecture. She told me that expecting affection was a form of entitlement, said that by initiating, I was placing an emotional load on her to manage my desires. I was confused. I thought husbands and wives were supposed to desire each other. I asked her if she was still attracted to me. She rolled her eyes, said attraction is a social construct heavily influenced by the male gaze. Felt like I was talking to a textbook, not my wife. I backed off, thought maybe she was just stressed with her new contract. I took on more chores, started doing all the grocery shopping, the laundry, the lawn care. Trying to reduce her mental load she kept talking about. Thought if I was the perfect modern husband, she would come back to me. It didn't work. In fact, it got worse. The more I did, the less she respected me. She started treating me like an employee who was on a performance improvement plan. I would come home tired from the warehouse. Managing truck drivers and supply chains is stressful. Real tangible problems. Delayed shipments, blown tires, angry clients. I'd walk through the door hoping for peace. Instead, I'd get a critique of how I loaded the dishwasher the night before. She called it weaponized incompetence. I swear to God, I just put a bowl on the wrong rack. One night, I reached for her hand while we were watching a movie. She pulled away like I burned her, looked at me with genuine disgust. Said I am not an emotional support animal, Liam. That broke something inside me. I went to the guest bedroom that night, lay there staring at the ceiling, realized I was lonely, bone-deep lonely. Living in a house with someone who viewed my existence as a political grievance. I decided to stop. No more begging, no more apologizing for things I didn't do, no more walking on eggshells. I woke up the next morning with a strange sense of clarity. Went to work, threw myself into a logistics crisis involving a fleet of trucks stuck in a snowstorm. Felt good to solve actual problems, problems with solutions. Problems that didn't require a thesis to understand. Started going to the gym near the warehouse during my lunch break, not to get buff for her, but to burn off the anger. Lifting heavy iron felt honest. Gravity doesn't care about your privilege, it just weighs what it weighs. 2 months passed like this. I became a ghost in my own house. I was polite, I did my share of the chores, but I stopped offering emotional labor. Stopped asking how her day was, stopped trying to touch her, stopped looking for validation. Alina didn't seem to notice at first. She was too busy with her wine coven. That's what I called her group of friends. 3 other women, all high-powered academics or corporate consultants. They would come over on Friday nights, drink expensive wine and complain about men. I used to sit with them, trying to be one of the good ones, nodding along while they roasted their partners. Now I just stayed late at the office or went to the gym. One Friday I came home early. They were in the living room. I walked in to grab a water from the kitchen, heard Alina talking. She was laughing, saying it's actually amazing he's finally learned his place. I haven't had to touch him in months and the house is still clean. It's all about setting boundaries and decentering his ego. Her friends laughed. One of them, Sarah, said, "You've trained him well, Most men need a shock to the system to understand they aren't the main character. I stood there in the hallway, holding my water bottle. My hand was shaking, not from fear, from rage. She wasn't suffering from a lack of intimacy. She was proud of it. She saw our dead bedroom as a victory, a trophy of her ideological purity. I walked into the living room. They all went quiet. I didn't say a word. Didn't look at them, just walked through to the garage and started working on my old motorcycle. Alina came out 10 minutes later. She looked annoyed, asked, "Are you going to say hello to the girls?" I didn't look up from the engine. Said no. She paused. "Excuse me." I wiped grease off my hands with a rag, looked her dead in the eye. "I'm not an emotional prop for your friends, Alina. I'm busy." She looked shocked, opened her mouth to argue. But I turned the wrench and ignored her. She huffed and went back inside. That was the first crack. Over the next few weeks, I kept focusing on myself, lost 15 pounds, shoulders got broader from the overhead presses. Bought some new clothes, fitted shirts, decent jeans. Stopped wearing the baggy cargo shorts she hated, but also the soft boy cardigans she bought me, dressed like a man who works in logistics. Boots, denim, flannel. At work, things were looking up. We hired a new coordinator. Her name was Julian, 26 years old, no master's degree, just a sharp mind and a great work ethic. She was normal. That was the most attractive thing about her. She laughed when things were funny. She swore when things went wrong. She didn't analyze every interaction for power dynamics. We started grabbing lunch together with the rest of the team, just sandwiches at the deli down the street. One day she noticed my lunch. It was a meal prep container of chicken and rice. She asked training for something. I shrugged, just trying to not die of a heart attack at 40. She laughed, a real throaty laugh, said, "Well, it's working. You look like you could lift a pallet without the forklift." I felt my face heat up. It had been years since a woman complimented me physically. Years. I just smiled and said, "I do my best," started feeling confident again. Realized I wasn't a broken thing. I was a capable man, competent at my job, physically fit, financially stable. Alina started getting restless at home. The training narrative wasn't holding up. Because I wasn't seeking her approval anymore, I was indifferent. And indifference is the one thing a control freak cannot handle. She tried to pick fights, would criticize how I folded the towels. I would just say okay and walk away. Wouldn't fix it, wouldn't argue, just okay. It drove her insane. She accused me of stonewalling, said I was using silence as a weapon. I told her, "I'm just respecting your boundaries, Alina. You wanted space, you have it." She couldn't argue with her own logic, but I could see the panic starting behind her eyes. Then came the company annual gala. Usually I dread these. Alina comes along and critiques the corporate structure. Makes fun of my boss's speech. Complains about the wine, but I had to go. I put on my suit. It fit better than it had in years. Needed to get it tailored because my waist was smaller and my chest was bigger. Alina wore a sharp, severe dress. Looked like she was going to a board meeting. We arrived at the hotel ballroom. I immediately went into work mode. Shaking hands, introducing Alina. She was polite but cold. Giving everyone the "I am analyzing you" stare. Then my boss, Gary, came over. Big guy, loud voice. "Liam, you saved our asses on the Midwest distribution lane. Corporate is thrilled." He slapped me on the back. "Alina, your husband is a wizard. We'd be underwater without him." Alina smiled tightly. "I'm sure he's very useful to the capital machinery." Gary blinked, confused, laughed awkwardly. "Right, well, enjoy the open bar." He walked away. I looked at Alina. "Can you just be normal for one night?" She bristled. "I am being authentic. I won't perform admiration for a system that exploits labor." I sighed. "I am the labor, Alina." He was complimenting me. She waved her hand dismissively. "You're middle management, you're the overseer." I shook my head and walked toward the bar. That's when I saw Julian. She was wearing a simple green dress, looked stunning. Not expensive, not high fashion, just pretty. She waved me over. "Liam, come save me from the accounting guys. They're talking about spreadsheets." I walked over, grinning. We started talking, easy, flowing conversation. About the warehouse, about the crazy drivers, about movies. I was laughing, head thrown back, genuine laughter. I forgot Alina was even in the room. I felt light, I felt seen. Julian touched my arm while she was laughing at a joke I made. Light touch, totally innocent, but it felt like electricity. I leaned in to hear her better over the music. We were in our own little bubble. Then I felt a tap on my shoulder. It was Alina. Her face was pale, her lips were a thin line. "Liam, we need to go." I turned to her. "We just got here, I haven't even finished my drink." She looked at Julian. Gave her the up-down look, pure venom. Julian didn't flinch, she smiled politely. "Hi, I'm Julian, I work with Liam, you must be Alina." Alina didn't shake her hand. "We are leaving now." She grabbed my arm hard. I looked at her hand on my sleeve, then I looked at her eyes. I gently removed her hand. "You can go if you want, Alina. I'm the manager here. I have to stay for the speeches." She looked like I had slapped her. "You are embarrassing me." I lowered my voice. "No, you are embarrassing yourself. Go wait in the car if you're miserable." She gasped, turned on her heel and stormed off. I stayed for another hour, talked to Julian some more, didn't cross the line, didn't have to. Just knowing that a woman like her found me interesting was enough. I walked to the parking lot. Alina was sitting in her car, the engine running. I got in. Silence for 5 minutes, then the explosion. "Who is she?" I kept my eyes on the road. "She's a coordinator, we work together." "She was flirting with you." "She was being nice." "I know it's been a while since you've seen that, so it might look confusing." Alina screamed, actually screamed. "Don't you dare gaslight me. I saw the way you looked at her. You looked at her like you used to look at me." I pulled the car over, safely on the side of the suburban road, put it in park, turned the interior light on, looked at her. "Yes, I did." She stopped screaming, stared at me, mouth open. "I looked at her like that because she treats me like a human being. She listens to what I say. She doesn't dissect my sentences for political failures. She laughs at my jokes." Alina started crying, not the soft crying, the angry, hyperventilating crying. "So you're going to leave me for some pick-me girl, some internalized misogyny Barbie." I laughed. A bleak, tired laugh. "You still don't get it. This isn't about her, it's about us. You stopped being my wife a year ago. You became my critic. You fired me from the position of husband and hired me as a punching bag." She wiped her eyes. "I was trying to educate you. I was trying to make our marriage equitable." "No, you were trying to win, and you won. Congratulations. You defeated the patriarchy in our living room. You made me feel small." "Are you happy?" She didn't answer. We drove the rest of the way in silence. That night she tried to initiate sex, crawled over to my side of the bed, hand on my chest. I gently pushed her away. "No," she froze. "What but you? You're a man, you always want it. I don't want pity sex, Alina, and I don't want hysterical bonding. You can't just flip a switch because you're scared I'm going to leave." She curled up on her side and sobbed. I slept on the couch. The next morning, the dynamic had shifted completely. She was making breakfast. Eggs, bacon, coffee. She hadn't cooked in 2 years, said it was servitude. Now she was plating up eggs like a diner waitress. "I thought we could talk," she said, voice shaky. I sat down, drank the coffee. "We can talk, but not about theory, about reality." She nodded rapidly, terrified. I realized then how much of her power came from my compliance. Without my agreement to her frame, she was just a scared woman in a kitchen. But then reality hit harder. 2 days later, her firm lost their biggest contract, tech sector layoffs. Day consultants are the first to go when the budget bleeds. She came home early, box of stuff in her hands. She was fired. I was in the kitchen making a sandwich. She put the box down and slumped onto a chair. They let me go. Effective immediately, no severance. She looked at me, waiting for me to fix it, waiting for me to say, "It's okay, I'll take care of you." And I did say it, because I'm not a monster. "We'll be okay, my job is stable." But the tone was different. It wasn't us against the world. It was, "I will pay the bills because I am the one with the job." She felt the shift. She looked around the kitchen. This house, her car, the food, the heating. All paid for by the capitalist cog work she mocked. She started to cry again, quietly this time. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I stopped chewing. "For what?" For everything, for the way I treated you, I got lost. I got so wrapped up in the online stuff, in the academic approval, I forgot you were my person. I looked at her. I wanted to believe her, but the hurt was deep. Elena, I appreciate the apology, but words are easy. You spent a year dismantling my self-esteem. You can't rebuild it with one breakfast and one apology because you lost your job. She nodded. I know, I'll earn it back. Please don't give up on us. I didn't answer immediately. Thought about Julian, thought about the freedom of being alone, but I also thought about the 5 years before the madness. I decided to give it a probation period. I'm not leaving today, I said, but things change now. No more lectures, no more deconstructing my existence. If you have a problem, you say it like a normal person, and we go to therapy, real therapy, not someone who just validates your theories. She agreed instantly. Fast forward 3 months, it's better, not perfect. She's working part-time at a non-profit. Humble work helping actual people, not writing policy papers. She seems more grounded. She touches me again, holds my hand. Asks about my day and actually listens to the answer about the truck schedules. I still see Julian at work. We're still friends. Nothing ever happened. But having her there is a reminder that I have options. A reminder that I am a man of value. Elena knows it too. She sees me checking my phone and she gets a little nervous. Good. A little nervousness keeps people honest. I gained my confidence back, not because my wife gave me permission, but because I took it. I realized that my labor, my stoicism, and my masculinity weren't defects. They were the foundation that held our lives together. She sees that now. Mostly because she saw what it looked like when I almost walked away with it. Last night we were watching TV. She rested her head on my shoulder, said, "Thank you for working so hard for us." I kissed her forehead, felt nice. But I kept one eye on the screen, and I kept my gym bag packed by the door for the morning. Never let yourself become a prop in someone else's play again. Be the main character of your own life. That's the only way they respect you. Moral of the story, respect is not negotiated, it is commanded. And sometimes you have to be willing to walk away to get it. The end.